Hello, hello. Chainsaw Man chapter 223 came out today, and we are going to quickly go over it. So the chapter starts with Yoru confirming that this Chainsaw Man is red, which is, visually from a manga standpoint, it's good to know what color he is, because I can't tell in black and white. But anyways, Yoru doesn't want Denji. She asks for Pochita back, to which Denji uses his chains to kidnap the devils under Yoru's command and wears them like a armor. And he puts the lion devil on his crotch. Um, yeah, So he uses the devils as hostages, which is a playbook out of the fake Chainsaw Man from a couple chapters ago when he uses civilians as a shield to protect himself against Denji. Yoru fires and shoots the Moray Eel Devil, which she's used a couple times in the past couple chapters, and she regrets it. She feels bad about hurting it. And then Denji eats the Moray Eel Devil, and that angers Yoru a lot, who is going to summon something from the moon. So I guess the whole moon thing is that because she has command over America, and America put a flag on the moon, she now feels she has command over the moon in general. So she's going to do something from the moon to Denji. And yeah, that's more or less the chapter. So I do feel the biggest takeaway for me from this chapter is that there are some parallels to the final battle of part 1, which is the fight between Denji and Makima. And in a lot of cases, it's there's a lot of things that are flipped around this time. So for example, the in part 1, it's Pochita pretending to be Denji to fight Makima, whereas this time it's Denji who comes in with Pochita's appearance to fight the horsemen. Makima had an army of humans, whereas Yoru has an army of devils. And Yoru is her goal is to have an eternity of war, whereas Makima, according to herself, wanted an eternity of peace. So I wonder if maybe this Chainsaw Man here, the Red Chainsaw Man, maybe following that line of thoughts, might not be Denji. Maybe it's because in part 1, the point of Makima and Denji's fight is that she thought that was Denji, and it turned out to not be him. So Makima overestimated her understanding of Ochida. So maybe in this case, the supposed Denji is actually Pochita in disguise and pretending to be Denji. Possibly. That is where my mind, that's my immediate thought after the chapter. But otherwise, Denji also spent part of this chapter lecturing Yoru about friendship, and I think that's maybe another connection to the Makima fight, where in that I'm trying to connect this. It's like she has a Yoru, at least Yoru has a superficial friendship with her lineup of devils, whereas I'll come back to that later. I'm still trying to make sense of that. There's some really funny faces in this chapter. Yoru copes and sees this a lot. But yeah, but that's about all I got for now. Let's see if we have some comments in the chat. Da-da-da. Yoru using the moon could be a symbolism for her shallow love, since the moon in Japan is used as a play on words for confessing their love to someone. Yeah, it could be. Let's see. Da-da-da. I remember reading that in Persona School Question. Oh, I guess it's still referring to the moon thing. Yeah, because in Japanese, apparently, if you say that the moon is beautiful tonight, you are confessing your love to the person you're saying it to. I don't quite get that, but at the same time, no one's ever said it to me, so I don't know. Maybe if someone said it to me, I'll be like, yeah, I feel the love. But um, but no, I don't think the point of the moon is to show love. More it could be. I don't know. We'll see next week. Speaking of irony, Pochita uses Denji's body to save him. Yoru uses Asa's body for her own selfish reasons. Yes, I forgot to mention that at the end of the chapter, Denji does ask for Asa's body back because he's holding the devils hostage. I do feel holding the devil's hostages is less effective when death isn't around. That being said, I don't necessarily. I'm trying to think of how death would affect the cycle of the devil's reincarnations. Because the devils have to die to turn into a new form. So you prefer the armored chainsaw, man. You watch some videos on moray eels and you have two theories on its importance. Two, this could be related to Asa's research when she went into the aquarium. Asa might have found moray eels cute and carried them over to Yoru. I don't remember them talking about moray eels specifically in the aquarium. I know they went into it on starfishes. I'm not sure. I'll have to revisit because I remember Asa did give Denji a big spiel on one fish. I don't remember which fish that was. Two, this could be related to Asa's reaction. I just read that. Space were darkness devil. We did see astronauts when the darkness devil showed up. Crazy theory. Makima mentioned the light of a star that would break children's minds. Maybe it's inside the moon. Yeah, that could be. Maybe. Part of me do feel, I do want the four other possibilities that Makima mentioned to, like, never be brought up. Because I do feel some things are better off not being shown, in my opinion. I do feel that's something that's more effective for the readers to imagine. Well, I guess the stars aren't like, it wasn't the four possibilities at the end of life, but the stars are just, it's a separate thing. But yeah, that's a good guess as well. But the Darkness Devil, I don't know if like Darkness Devil would come from the moon, because the moon technically does, it does provide light. But my first thought did go to the Darkness Devil as well. See, Denji's basically showing how how shallow she is, and how little her bonds mean to her. Yes, I was going to say that I wish Denji could have, like, not just Denji, but like part two could have been more delve deeper into like the relationship, friendship aspects of it. I feel that would make Denji's point a bit more meaningful. But at the same time, it's like I get that Yoru's relationship with these devils is shallow and like she's just using them, but I'm not really sure how to convert that into a bigger narrative in part two is where I'm getting at. Um, but yeah, I'll have to come back and revisit Yoru's relationship with the devils. I don't really know what to make of these, to be honest. The pronunciation of the word sound like the confessing, like right and uh, I don't really get that. With that gone, devils shouldn't be dying, except Denji eating them. Yes, that's another question I have about Denji eating devils now, because when Denji was in like his normal Chainsaw Man form, he didn't share Pochita's powers of like erasing things. So now that he is Big Chainsaw Man, does he now have the ability to erase devils from existence? I guess we'll find out next chapter because he ate the Morio devil, so we'll see if Yoru reacts, how Yoru reacts that chapter, because if Yoru forgets about it, we will see. Or alternatively, maybe Yoru genuinely has a bond to the Morio devil, and despite, against all of Pochita Denji's powers, she might remember the Morio next chapter, perhaps. Who knows? They didn't mention the eels during the aquarium date, but it's odd how there is an overlap since they are both sea water related. Yeah, I do find it weird how much the Mori Eel Devil is relevant here, because that's not exactly a devil that I think would be powerful. So the past couple chapters, I am like, why is Yoru keep using it? That's my. But maybe Fujimoto himself did go to an aquarium recently, and he got fascinated by the moray eel, perhaps. Ba. The only reason I thought the Darkness Devil was because the astronauts showed up in part one. Yeah. I get that. I get that. Because I think from like an astronaut standpoint, they haven't really gone anywhere other than the moon. So there's like a big association between astronauts and the moon. I'm like half and half on, do I want to see the Darkness Devil back right now? Because in my mind, the Darkness Devil is like a huge deal. And I don't know, I just like to see the Darkness Devil being used pretty scarcely. I feel like when the Darkness Devil shows up, it's gonna be like him stealing the scene. I But yeah, I feel Yoru's gonna be like logically Yoru's gonna be using the moon, I feel, rather than the Darkness Devil, because she, like I said earlier, right, she has command over the moon because she feels she has power over America, and America put the flag on the moon, so in her mind the moon is now hers. So I feel that's the logical connection between Yoru and having power over the moon, whereas she doesn't really have that control over the Darkness Devil, because as far as we know, America never put a US flag on Darkness. I don't know how they would do that, but let's see. Io Unagi Hime is a yokai that lures men hidden as beautiful women, which does match Yoru. Okay, yeah, I didn't know that. I'll look that up later. But yeah, I think we went over most of this chapter. I guess one thing I forgot to mention is I do feel Denji's going to get his ass kicked next chapter because he is copying the strategy of the big Chainsaw Man of using like civilians as hostages. That didn't work for him, so I don't think it's going to work for Denji. I'm like 30% committed to the idea that this supposed Denji is Pochita pretending to be him. Just like in part one, but I don't know what that would accomplish necessarily. Not sure. I guess my predictions for next chapter is that it's gonna be like a huge action scene, like at least 4 different widespreads, at least 4 different like double pages, big double spreads, and it's gonna be over in like 15 seconds of reading time. Let's see. But yeah, I guess that's about all we have to talk about for the week. Yeah, that's about it. Oh, I guess another thing is I started watching Evangelion because I seen a couple people. Cause my last video, I talked about a bit about Devilman, and I think someone also said that there's some like connection between or some inspiration from Devilman to Evangelion, and some people think there's a connection between Evangelion and Chainsaw Man. So I started watching Evangelion. I'm on not chapter. I'm on episode 3, halfway through that, and I stopped exactly in the like the 10-minute mark of the episode because they asked Shinji if he was like in the robot, and Shinji is like, yes. And I was like, God damn it, Shinji, you can't do that. You need to hide your secret identity. Well, I guess because it's like you look at Peter Parker. When people find out that he's Spider-Man, they fucking shot Aunt May. So I'm like, Shinji, you can't do that. You can't just tell them that, man. But you know what? From what I've seen so far, Shinji doesn't have an Aunt May. He doesn't have anyone he loves. He fucking hates his dad. So maybe that's why he's okay with sharing that. But another thing I am a bit surprised by with Evangelion is how quickly Shinji got in the robot. Because I don't really know much about it, but I know that there's like a meme going on of people asking, where people be like, Shinji, get in the fucking robot. And he got in the robot in the first episode, man. So it's like, well, what are you guys talking about? He's in the robot. He got in there real fast. But overall, it's really good. I actually really like the art style. I do feel there's like something about the 90s anime aesthetics that I really enjoy. Just the colors is like, very nice. But I'll try to finish that before the end of the year. Yeah. I pronounce it Evangelion to piss off anime weebus. Is it not pronounced Evangelion? Or Evangelion? Oh, that's what you're saying. For a second, I thought I was maybe pronouncing it wrong, which I still could be. I don't really get the whole Neon Genesis Evangelion. Like, I get Genesis, because I heard there's some, like, biblical inspirations. I haven't really noticed any yet, other than the fact that there are angels, and the first angel, when he explodes in, like, a big cross. So not that subtle, but I'm not sure about neon. Maybe neon refers to like the color of robots. I'm not sure, but I'm still like 24 episodes behind, so maybe that will get answered. Shinji wants to be recognized, so it makes sense. He's desperate to get his dad to give him some love. Yeah, that's probably where it's going. I haven't gotten past that scene yet, but I'm assuming that there's this one guy whose brother or whose sister, he's a brother. He has a sister. His sister got like trapped in rubbles. He was blaming the robot for not doing its job. He's probably gonna bully Shinji to some degree, and I'm assuming maybe Asuka's gonna show up and then also make fun of Shinji and make him feel bad. I think that's where this is going. I am a little surprised that Asuka hasn't shown up yet. Cause the first thing I ever heard about Evangelion is like the fan base arguing over choosing between Rei or Asuka. And we're 2.5 episodes in. Neither have really done anything yet. So yeah, well, we'll see what happens. But I really like it so far. It's like, like when you watch something and then you kind of see like the intentionality of each cut. That's how I'm feeling right now. It's like I see a character, give the camera a look. I'm like, okay, the director is very deliberate with some of her choices. So that's my impression of it. Although coincidentally, apparently the studio that made it is going out of business. So that's not good. But yeah, otherwise I'll try to finish that before the end of the year and maybe give my thoughts on it if I could. But yeah, that's about all I got for the night. Thanks for the chats, and there's no break this week, so we'll come back next week for 224. Yeah, bye bye.